Hey, good morning, friends. How are you? Welcome back to our channel, Unlimited Potential Insight. So, when you're trying to find your potential, when you're trying to unleash your potential, there's one thing that you might realize later on, which I realized quite later on, but which is so important. The moment you understand that part of your life, you can optimize your life. You can grow exponentially. I generally think that life is actually divided into four, and same had happened with me also. The first phase is when you just start your career. It's a kind of default life. Something you want to do, somehow you want to survive, somehow you want to become software engineer, senior software engineer, technical lead, banker, whatever you want to. You want to grow in your career, right? In your materialistic growth. The moment you are at a certain level, that's where you start thinking of designing your life. Can I become and go at this level? Can I become head of a department? Can I become senior technical architect? Can I become project manager? And can I go into the C level things, CTO, CEOs, right? And that's where you understand there's a there are so many things that you have to learn. Particularly, you have to understand the world inside you. You have to understand the world inside you, that all the you have to tap into the meditations and visualizations and so many other things, right? So somewhere you have to bring yourself in and then tap into that power, and that's where you can go to the fourth level, which is living your life onto your peak potential. Same has happened with me also. And the guest who is today in this in the today is actually the one who has gone through all these phases, and he is already at a level 4, I'll say. His name is Surya Prakash Mohapatra, and he has 22 years of IT experience, and he has been with Microland, Hewlett Packard, Wipro. Currently, he's working as a global head, talent transformation and learning and development in Wipro digital operations and platforms. He is featured in Best HR Heads of India 2016 listing. He also got Game Changer Award in Hewlett Packard. He has Global Knowledge Management Leadership Award. He's also been awarded as one of the most 25 most talented global training and development leader. And on top of it, he is also an ardent follower of Sri Sri Thakurji. So on one side, he has seen all the materialistic growth that is possible, and on the other side, he's also exploring the spiritual side of it. So help me welcome our guest today, Surya Prakash Mahapatra. Hi Surya ji,
Thank
कैसे
you
हैं
so
आप?
much. Thank you for this opportunity.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. Thank you for joining us, and it's our pleasure. And I'm sure you are going to inspire so many people who are confused, who are a bit confused how to leverage the spiritual part of their life into their personal growth. So we all want to grow personally in our career, uh, in our relationships, and so many things that we do. But somewhere there's a gap, because just with the logical growth, just with the materialistic growth, there's a cap to it, there's a ceiling to it, right? So how can I tap into spirituality that can also bring me the peak happiness that I'm looking for? So thank you so much, Surya ji, for joining us. So I just wanted to understand, I've already, do you want to say anything before I go ahead, Surya ji?
No, I just want to say that I'm looking forward to this dialogue with you. I think we will learn from each other.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So, this is what I have seen, and that has happened with me also, not only with the youngsters or people who are trying to go to the next level, who are trying to live, not live just a default life. They want to design their life. So, somewhere I've seen that religion is not fashionable these days, right? So maybe particularly due to all this Baba culture and all, so many so-called Babas are there, which may not make complete sense to people, and we keep hearing all the wrong things also that they do. And we have been India have been a country wherein spirituality is somewhere still the key thing, right? All the growth that we have seen was associated with spirituality. So in that process, I think somewhere we all are also ignoring the powerful potential of spirituality that we can bring in into ourselves and take it to the next level, right? So just wanted to understand from you, Suryaji, how is that, how can we differentiate between religion and spirituality? Because somewhere it is getting mixed and people are ignoring even spirituality, which can actually take them to the next level. So do you can you share some thoughts on this?
Well, absolutely. So religion and spirituality are two different things. So religion is sometimes associated with a set of practices, customs, rituals, etc. Religion is also the faith that one has, the faith that one associates himself or herself. But spirituality is all encompassing and all pervading. Spirituality takes man inside himself or herself. So if you look at spirituality, essentially it is we can describe this as a set of ideas, actions which take man to the cause. So when man starts moving towards the cause and understands the cause behind everything. When we talk about spirit and matter, they are two different stages of the same continuum. So we talk about the spiritual world and the material world, but they're not really different. They're just two different stages of the same continuum. One is the effect, other one is the cause. So when we practice spirituality, it takes us to the cause. So what is within the purview of our knowledge is the material world that we see. What lies beyond, what we can't see, from where everything has come. The material world has evolved from the spiritual world. When we understand, when we expand our vision to understand who am I, why have I come here, what is the purpose of my life? When we start asking these questions, we start diving into that world, which is beyond the purview of our knowledge. And when that knowledge comes within the purview of our knowledge, that's where the spiritual awakening happens. And that's possible only when we wholly awaken our sense organs, because our sense organs need to be alert enough. Our vision, our ability to hear and listen, our ability to conceive, perceive. That's where I think the connection with spirituality, the connection with the beyond, which is the cause of everything, happens. I think we'll
Awesome.
continue this discussion
Yeah,
and talk
that's
more about
amazing. Amazing. I think the way you connected spirituality with that calling, with that purpose, right? Somewhere, if we just think about the materialistic growth, we are limited to somewhere what I want to achieve, right? But we will never get that inspiration. We will never get that calling, right? Why exactly I'm here? Who am I? What purpose I've been sent to this world? Amazing, amazing. That's a great thought. Uh, so coming to the next part, next question, Surya ji. So in the midst of all these kind of distractions that we have, and some people, and since you are into L&D, and that becomes even more important to understand from you, is that uh, in these COVID times and all, when jobs are getting laid off, and people are still, I see that people are still not going beyond their default life. They just want to be in their comfort zone, right? They don't want to. Some people don't even understand the importance of self growth. Forget about spirituality. They don't want to grow in their mindset. They don't want to grow into their thought process. They can't even think about spirituality. The first level is to deciding, actually, yeah, I want to live a better life, right? If I am just living the life as it is going since last many years, I don't need any spiritual growth, any personal growth, right? So why is personal growth even more important these days, Suryaji? I'm sure, since you are into this field, you are into field where you are helping people to grow their mindset and personality. So it will be great to hear from you on this.
I think you said something very interesting. You talked about distractions and you also talked about growth. And for a human being to achieve growth, Distractions are absolutely essential. They are the ingredients that man would need for growth. Um, Distractions, disruption, friction, etc. They actually they're essential for growth. Imagine an egg. Only when it breaks from inside, life emerges, right? Or when you are tapping on the tabla, music emerges. So unless you create that friction, you don't see the emergence of new life. And growth is possible only when we gain and acquire ability to deal with the impulses of our environment and respond to those impulses. The fact that when a mosquito bites me, I understand that. And then my hand goes to kill the mosquito. So it's the impulse from the environment which makes me realize that I'm alive. So
Awesome.
that's why the environment and the disruptions, distractions, the friction that I receive from all around me are absolutely essential for my growth. So now the question is, what is our understanding about growth? I think the present generation today is slightly misled and misguided about this whole phenomenon called growth.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes we believe growth means acquiring wealth, or getting more money, gaining titles and positions. But are they growth? Well, these are probably different. These titles, these positions, etc., do not represent growth. Because they are not permanent. They don't stay with you forever. I think Stephen Covey, the very famous leadership guru, talked about something very interesting. He's talked about production and producing ability. So what we create using our producing ability is essentially what we achieve. But if we focus on production and don't focus on our producing ability, and if we just go after production, then we might end up losing our producing ability at some point in time. So in our world today, many people go after titles, position, money, wealth, and they forget about focusing on their ability, their inner potential, their traits, skills, and competencies to create wealth, to create success. So I think that's why they fail miserably. That's why we
Right.
see their challenges and
Right.
failures in life. So if you
Awesome.
bring focus back to the producing ability, if we bring focus back to myself, my abilities, my competencies, my traits, essentially that is growth. So growth is essentially growing your potential, growing your abilities, expanding your capabilities. Then what happens are the outcomes of that. And sometimes we consider the outcome as growth. But I believe is expanding your own potential is the true essence of it.
Amazing. That's so amazing. I think I remember that story that I've heard in my childhood, woodcutter and axe, right? So woodcutter used to hit the tree again and again. So he was just focusing on the production, and he forgot about the
Yeah,
production ability of the axe, right? So somewhere you
yeah,
have to sharpen that axe, and that's what is all about inner growth. And if I'm not
yeah,
sharpening myself, and if I'm just focusing on the logical side, as you said, materialistic growth, somewhere it's very limited, right? I can maximum what I can do, I can become CEO, but I don't say CEO is the optimum potential of a human, right? You can go beyond that, right? Why only CEO? You can make an impact on society, like Steve Jobs. He was a CEO, but he made an impact on the humanity, right? So somewhere that's so important. Thank you so much for coming to that. So the next thing that I wanted to understand from you, Surya Dada, was around the uh, since you said about this on the materialistic growth and designation. Some people will say, Surya Dada, you have already grown like that, right? You have already grown to the peak. You are already so successful, right? So the moment you are at a very high level, being a head in L&D in Wipro, right? Is somewhere. people think that, oh, since you have reached to that level, so you've already grown materialistically, then you can say that, right? But I am just a software engineer, I am just a technical lead, I am just a director, or whatever it is, right? So how do I bring a balance between that worldly success that most of us are looking for, and also on the other hand, I can bring in the elements of spirituality, which can make me a better human being, which can help me optimize myself, which can help me in my personal growth, so that I am growing in the worldly terms, also in my designations, in my growth, and also on the other hand, I understand the significance of it. Not that I'm growing just for the sake of show off. I'm growing so that I can make an impact on the society, right? So somewhere, how can we if you can elaborate this connection between these two things, materialistic growth and spiritual growth, and maybe you can connect with your life also, because you have been a great example on this.
So yeah, while some people might say that I have grown and things like that, but 20 years ago I was me myself, and today I'm me and myself. So there could have some titles that may have come along the way. There could have been some awards, rewards that might have come along the way, but I am none of them. I am not my title. I am not my position. I am not the award that I have won, etc. I am myself, and I'm on the journey. I'm a journey to evolve. I think that's the whole objective. Now coming back to the worldly results and outcomes, etc. I think there is a management guru who talked about something very interesting. He said, performance. He said the performance is equal to potential minus interference. So performance or success or achievement is equal to potential minus interference. All of us believe that every human being has come to this earth with unlimited potential, infinite potential, infinite possibilities. So there's no dearth of potential in human being. And but the question is, the equation that we just talked about is potential minus interference. So potential alone doesn't take one to success because there is something that comes on the way, which is interference. So for us to achieve success, worldly success or spiritual success, so success in any aspect of life, what is important for us is to continuously expand and enhance our potential and continuously reduce the interference, right? But the challenge today, unfortunately, is many people in this world don't even know what their potential is. They lack that self-awareness. A child wants to become a musician, parents force him to become an engineer, a computer engineer, computer scientist. Um, a child wants to become a sports person, parents force him to study physics. So, and sometimes the child himself or herself doesn't know what is his or her potential.
Right.
So, knowing your potential comes through self-awareness. Spirituality helps us develop that self-awareness. If I
Amazing.
don't even know my potential, I have lost the battle. I might have come with infinite potential, but I don't know what I'm capable of. And that's what the world, the humankind is grappling today. Just
Amazing.
see there are so many people who are in the wrong field.
Right.
I was talking to a group of MBA students who are pursuing MBA in a B school. 8 out of 10 students spoke to me and they said, "Sir, we don't know why we are here and why are we pursuing this MBA program?" And I asked one of the students, "What do you want to do in life?" He said, "I want to become a musician." Um, I said, "Why are you here?" He said, "I am here because all my friends joined this MBA program, and I believe an MBA program will pay you a good career and a lot of money. That's why I'm here. But I don't enjoy this now." I said, "Then why don't you drop out?" He said, "Sir, I am the son of a middle class man. My father has put all his lifelong savings into my education. I mean, I can't let him down." So see the state of affairs today.
Amazing
So
example.
not even understanding one's potential is a disaster. Now the second thing is interference. How do you really reduce interference? So reducing interference is possible when we understand the cause of interference. Interference comes from within. It's my lack of confidence, my lack of belief in myself. It's my bad habits, indiscipline, irregulated life, my addictions, etc. These are internal interference. There are external interference, which is coming from outside. People who work against me, um, the surroundings in organization, we call it organizational politics, so many other things, the events that are happening all around us, and so on. Now the question is, how do we reduce this interference? How do
Yeah.
you gain that self-reliance? How do we overcome the lack of nervousness?
Yeah.
How do you become confident? You need faith, isn't it? You need that leap of faith. And
Right.
where does that leap of faith come from? It comes from spiritual inclination.
Right.
Without that spiritual inclination, I cannot have that leap of faith. That leap of faith comes from within. That comes from that spiritual inclination. And how do I gain control over my bad habits, addiction? We know so many people in our career. We know our friends who were the toppers in their batches in during their education in the universities, but today they are absolutely unsuccessful in their careers.
Right. Right.
They were the toppers. They had the best IQ. They were logically very strong. They had the domain knowledge, subject matter knowledge. They were sharp, but
Right.
they were successful because they had wrong habits, bad company, addictions. There are
Right.
many poor persons who had lot of promise but have just failed miserably.
Yeah.
So
Right.
how do I master, how do I gain self mastery? How do I lead a disciplined life? How do I lead a self regulated life? I need a living ideal in my life.
Right. Right.
I need to gain mastery over my life. I need to associate myself with a life teacher.
You're right.
And through that life teacher, my spiritual journey begins.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
my spiritual journey, I gain control over my bad habits, my fears, my anxieties, my addictions, and I control over my internal interferences.
Awesome.
Now
Awesome.
external interference, how do I deal with it? How do
Mm-hmm.
I deal with my colleagues, with my friends, with my competition at the workplace? How do I deal with events?
Yeah.
You know, Again, we need spirituality to gain the ability to deal with and respond to impulses,
Right.
respond to situations,
Mm-hmm.
respond to impulses that I receive from the environment. My potential, my subject matter knowledge will not help me do that. You know, I will need empathy. I
Mm-hmm.
would need patience. I
Mm-hmm.
would need tolerance. I would need how to navigate through difficult situations. I
Right.
need spirituality. I
You're
need
right.
that spiritual knowledge which will help me navigate through.
Awesome, awesome. So I think each and every line that you spoke were having so much of depth and so much of nuggets were there in what you said. That reminds me, I remember the organization which I am also associated with, Peak Impact Mentorship, and we were doing a survey among almost around 500 people. You started with saying, "I am not my title, I am not my designation," and we just asked people, "Can you describe about yourself?" Surprisingly, 90% of the people just wrote down, "I am software engineer, I am banker, I am director." So the only thing they could come up with is about their designation, their title. So they are identified completely with themselves only with that title, with that badge that we get. And it's so amazing to hear from you that it's just one part of our life, right? We are not that. We are much beyond that, right? We are much beyond that. The
Yeah.
moment we tap into our inner potential, the moment we tap into this, I think somewhere we will have materialistic goals that we have, certainly, and then there will be a as you gave example of sportsmen. I think there are big names like Michael Jackson and so many others. They were such amazing people who could have made even more impact on the society, but somewhere since they were not disciplined, spirituality somewhere they couldn't leverage it, they couldn't live that amazing life that they were meant for. So great. I think it's really great to hear all these things. So
So this reminds me of something because we talked about people associating themselves with their titles and
right,
positions. What people need to understand is they are not their title. These
yeah,
are their responsibilities.
right,
So if I'm playing a role in a play, I'm playing the role of a king. I'm not a king. I am me
exactly,
and my friend. But
exactly,
in that play, I have to play the role of a king so efficiently that people will think I'm a king. The
right,
audience will believe that I'm a king.
right,
I need to play that role, my part so efficiently. But I should never believe deep inside, if I know myself, I will never think I'm a king. Or
exactly,
if I play the role of a mad person in a play, I know I'm not a mad person.
yeah,
But I need to play that part so efficiently that the audience will feel that they are seeing a mad person. But
right,
deep inside, I know I'm not a mad person. So that self-awareness is extremely important. That you are not your title and position. You are
right.
yourself.
Amazing. That consciousness, that self awareness is needed. That exactly amazing. So one thing that I've seen, Surya Dada, is since I think since ancient times there has been a big conflict between becoming successful, earning money, right, and then on the other hand the spirituality. So many of the babas they will say, uh, बेटा इतना पैसे से क्या होता है सब दान कर दो right something like that right so now there's a big conflict right and that on one side people think okay why do I work hard why do I need to do that whatever I'm doing I'm fine right I don't need to earn so much of money because money the moment you earn money the moment you become rich the moment you become successful you tend to start doing bad things so movies में भी ऐसे ही दिखाते हैं जितने अमीर लोग हैं वो लोग सारे चोर हैं right somewhere they are thieves and looters right and all the poor people are the heroes and heroines of the movies so somewhere there's a big conflict and what I think is all the good people should have more power all the good people should have more power to control things and somewhere if you know how to leverage that money into good things I think nothing like that, right? For example, when we compare someone like Tata, they do so many CSR activities, right? Somewhere he's leveraging that money to do good things as far as I know in the media, right? But why is there that conflict is there, and what we can do to avoid that conflict? That you can be super successful, work hard for that, and then leverage it in the right direction. Use it in the right direction instead of being conflict in that situation. Okay, I'm not going. I'll just be focused on the spirituality. Why to be successful in my job? You rightly said designation is your responsibility. If you are assigned a role, why don't you perform at your best, right? Maybe no, maybe at a world class level. So there's a big conflict between spirituality and becoming successful, becoming rich. So how do you take that, Suraj?
It's fairly simple and easy. Answer to this question is fairly simple. Um, the question that I would like to ask is whether money is the end or it is a means to an end.
Some,
As long as we look at money as an end, all the problems arise. But when we look at money as the means to achieve an end, then there is no problem in life. So
amazing.
if you look at the sun is a source of energy. And if you look towards the sun and keep walking, your shadow will follow you. But if you forget the sun and if you turn your back towards the sun and keep walking, you will be running after your shadow. So that's the fundamental difference. So do I run after the shadow or do I run after the sun? Do I run after money, wealth, affluence, or do I run after my ideal? If I run after the shadow, I will run after my shadow all my life. The sun will be behind me. But if I run after the sun, if I walk towards the sun, my shadow will follow me. So if I go after my ideal, money, wealth, affluence, position, title, success, everything will follow me. If I go after my ideal, if I go after my purpose, if I go after that mission, that vision, that objective, everything else will follow me. When Mahatma Gandhi started the freedom movement, he had no money. But he had a great purpose. He had a
Right.
great idea. So if I go after my idea, then everything else will follow me.
Awesome.
Why do I need to store plenty of water, gallons and gallons of water in my house? Why not just set up my house next to the river where I am connected to the eternal source of water? Every time I need, I just take my lota or my mug, bring a mug full of water, and then meet my requirement. I don't have to worry about water because my house is next to the source of water. But if I don't do that, I'll have to worry about saving and storing gallons and gallons of water and just continue after it.
Wow.
So if I'm connected with the source of energy, the source of strength, the source of power, the source of everything, the source of this universe, the creator himself, if I recognize I'm the creation and he is the creator, I don't have to worry about because everything belongs to me. If I associate myself with the creator. But if I forget the creator, then I will go after everything else all my life. I will spoil my life. I will destroy my life going after everything. But if I go after the creator, I will find everything in it. I'll find success. I'll find wealth and money. I will find fame and name and everything. I think
Amazing.
that's what spirituality teaches us.
Awesome, awesome. So basically, so if I summarize this, so I think there's this. I remember in Three Idiots at the end they show this: if you run after excellence, money will follow you. So
Yes.
basically, if you are running towards your purpose, toward your ideal, all these things are byproducts, right? So you don't have to focus on that. Amazing. So shadow. Why will you focus on the shadow? You focus on the sun. Shadow will automatically come behind you. Amazing, amazing. That's so profound. So I think one thing again, there's a conflict between these days. When we start our career, somewhere we tend to be so logical. We want to add one certification, other certification, all the technical things, all the domain related things, and that's where we grow our IQ. But there is something uh, much more prominent which can multiply our growth, which can exponentially grow us. So that is the EQ part of the world, and all the big leaders, I think particularly in COVID times, I'm sure their EQ got tested more than their IQ, right? Offices are closed. You can't meet those people whom you used to meet daily, and you used to instruct them, do this, do that, right? All those things are not possible now, right? So somewhere that these are the times where EQ has started getting even more prominence. So the moment you get into the spiritual path, you understand the spiritual path, even you start developing that EQ part of your mind, right? The other side of your mind. So but now if you see, I see a big conflict that one side people have this tendency that they become so logical that they don't want to explore their they want to become successful with their logical mind and everything, and of course there's a ceiling, there's a cap to it. But on the other hand, the conflict is that some people get so devotional. So in terms of Vivekananda used to say that in karmi yoga that uh, if you're a beggar and if you're coming to sacrifice, there's hardly anything for you to sacrifice. So why don't you first become like a king and then think of sacrificing? So just want you to understand from that. But some people become so devotional that they are not able to contribute to the society, to the community they are in, to the family they want to they should make an impact on, right? So how do we bring that balance, that so that we are also spiritual and we are also able to leverage the spirituality to make an impact on the world, to make a dent on the universe, in the terms of Steve Jobs. So, and I think Steve Jobs is another great example wherein he actually tapped his spiritual power. He went to Himalayas, learned so many things, and then he did so many great things. So how can we do that, how can we bring that balance so that we can use our spiritual powers, spiritual thing, and then we can actually not become too devotional or become too logical. We try to do a kind of bridge between these two things. How can we do that?
A very interesting question. You talked about being logical and being devotional. Oftentimes, many of us believe being spiritual is being spiritual means that you are not logical, but that's not correct. That's definitely not correct. Science has taught us how life evolved. Science has taught us that more than 4 billion years ago, the Earth came into existence. It talks about how the life started with a single cellular, creature. Uh, yes, and then how life evolved from there, from a single cellular form to human being. Science has explained all of this to us. Science has told us how life evolved, but science has not taught us why life evolved, why life came into existence, what is the purpose of life. That's what spirituality teaches us. So, spirituality is the science of life. Spirituality begins where science stops. Where science does not have answers, spirituality has answers. So, sometimes we believe spirituality is not logical. No, spirituality is logical. Spirituality is about cause and effect. Sometimes we think when we see something, something unimaginable happens, we call it miracle. But spirituality says every effect has a cause. You introduced me as an ardent follower of Sri Sri Thakurji, who is my spiritual guide, and he says that the ideas and activities that lead man to the cause are spiritualism. So spirituality takes us to the cause. It is
Amazing.
the science of life, how life evolved, how man can become successful, how can we gain control over our complexes, sense pleasures, how can we multiply our potential. It is spirituality that teaches us that you are the creation of the creature. And Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra says that man is also a creator because he is the creation of the creator. Being the creation of the creator himself, man is a creator as well. And man can create his own destiny, right? So spirituality teaches us that. Spirituality connects us with infinite, it connects us with the source of energy. The moment you are spiritually charged and inclined, you are filled with energy and inner strength, right? So so spirituality is definitely not illogical. So when if there is a conflict between the logical mind and the devotional, I will say there is no conflict. Your your knowledge, which was restricted, limited, because you did not delve into the spiritual world, you only depended on science, scientific evidences, etc. Um, that that mind opens up when you dive into the spiritual world. You
Amazing.
see you know the unknown, you see the invisible, you understand what you did not understand before, and the spiritual practices help us. So spirituality is not about a slow, dormant life. Spirituality is very active and practical life. Spiritual practice is about practicing a new life. It is a lifestyle. It's a clue of living life effectively and efficiently and meaningfully.
Amazing.
And and spirituality helps us do that. So just one example, one of the key practices of spirituality is meditation. When we
Right.
practice meditation, it it enables us to concentrate.
Right.
It helps us gain concentration and focus. And today science has taught us in several ways how the focus and concentration in the mind, in the brain, can achieve exponential results.
Amazing.
But if one has everything but cannot focus, cannot concentrate, her life will become fragmented, shattered. If life is not concentric, it ends up becoming eccentric. So spiritual practice like meditation helps us improve our perception, our conception, ability to visualize things that I could not conceive for days together. I conceived them in no time. Things which I was not able to observe and comprehend, I comprehend that in no time. It improves my calmness and composure, my tolerance. It enhances my ability to respond. I was earlier reacting, but through my meditation and concentration and focus, now I'm responding, I'm not reacting. So, so we see the benefits of spirituality, and which
Amazing.
is definitely not illogical.
Of
This
course.
purely logical, and we
Of course.
understand the cause and effect of everything through
Amazing.
spirituality.
Amazing, Suraj. And I think since I also, when I started leveraging meditation, and on top of it, I think there are other things like visualization, self-talk. When I read Satya Anusaran by Shri Shri Anukul Chandra Thakur, somewhere it feels like a self-talk. When I say, right, I don't want to get into these things, I don't want to get into those things. So I think all these are something that even science, NLPs, and so many different forms of science has come out, and they are giving so much of importance to this. The moment we are able to leverage, we are able to tap into visualization, we are able to visualize the things that we want in our life. When we are able to change our words to what we call self talk, the things that I want in my life, right? And self talk, visualization, meditation, somewhere I think all these are parts of spirituality. That's a great example that you gave. So uh,
Thank you.
finally, I just wanted to understand if you want to add some more thoughts on uh, Thakurji's words, wisdom on personal growth, on spirituality. I know you've already added a couple of those. So do you want to add anything else? Because I think that's what we want to tap into his learnings, his teachings. So if you have any thoughts on that.
Absolutely. So, my spiritual guide, Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra, who is also your spiritual guide,
Yes.
believed that every human being is a living universe. So, all the five elements which are there in the universe also exist in human beings. So, he said every human being is a living universe. If they, so when we see a human being, deep dive inside a human being, we can see all the aspects of the universe. So now he had indomitable faith in what a human being can do. He was an he is an eternal optimist. He believed that man can make impossible possible, and he was the proponent of that. His mission, his satsang mission, was that of man making and man remaking. He called satsang as a man making institution. He said the whole purpose of human life is evolution, being and becoming, existence and growth. That's the purpose of human life. The objective of our birth, the objective of coming to this universe is to evolve. That's the sole objective. And he said it is possible if man becomes concentric. If man concentrates his life, his or her life, if a human being concentrates his or her life around a living ideal who is uh, the embodiment, who is the living embodiment of life, existence. So, such a living ideal in our spiritual world is called a guru. So, when we find that guru, when we find that Sadguru, when you attach yourself to that guru or the living ideal, all other addictions, attachments, they become insignificant and trivial. You
Awesome.
remember we were talking about the sun and the shadow. So everything else appears to be the shadow, and then you go after the sun. The living embodiment of that sun, who is in human form, is a guru. With him, through his helping hand, you need you understand the clue of living life. If we want to learn music, we go to music teacher. If you want to learn mathematics, we go to a mathematics teacher. If you want your son to learn tennis, you send him to a tennis coach. What about living life? If you want to live life meaningfully, successfully, blissfully, happily, with all its charm and beauty, don't we need a teacher for our life? Don't we need that life teacher? And most of us ignore that aspect. We think we'll learn through Google, we'll learn through internet, we'll learn by reading books. But realization comes when you come in contact with a realized man. You
Right.
know, I might say that, well, I can learn through experience in life. You know, I might choose to realize that smoking is injurious to health. I can learn that through experience. I can smoke for 20 years, spoil my health, and go through a miserable life. Or I can talk to my father, who has realized by making the same mistake in his life, who has realized that smoking is injurious to health. So I don't have to experience it myself. Just by coming in contact with a man who is a realized man. And that realized man is Guru, a realized soul, a reformed, evolved, transformed man himself.
Amazing.
So the fundamental thing in life, according to Sri Sri Thakur Chandra, is an ideal centric life, having a living ideal or Guru at the center of your life, making him the love center. So when we make that realized man as the love center of my life, my realization becomes spontaneous and natural. With my love and attachment towards him, all other trivial attachments, addictions, bad habits, they go away just because my sheer love for him. Because I love him, I want to make him happy. Everything else that makes him unhappy, I will not do that. So those attachments go away. Remember, we were talking about internal interference, my bad habits,
Right.
my attachments, my
Mm-hmm.
addictions, they
Mm-hmm.
go away very easily. I don't have to apply any force. The very natural fashion they go away because I enjoy a bliss and happiness of a different order. So his mission was that of leading an ideal centric life. Many of us have seen the domestic dogs and the street dogs. A street dog has no master. Street dogs keeps roaming around. Ah, but a domestic dog have a master. His life is regulated, disciplined, and the attachment between the domestic dog, the pet dog, and the master is so beautiful. And the life of the pet dog is so beautiful. But the
Amazing.
street dog gets beaten up, pelted stones by children, and its life is so miserable. So human life is like that. If you have a master, a guru, a life teacher in your life can be blissful because your master takes the responsibility of
Right.
yours.
Right.
So that's the essence of the teaching of Sri Sri Thakur. And Sri Sri Thakur believes the journey of transformation, the journey of growth, progress, expansion, evolution begins with having that guru or master in your life. The
Amazing.
rest, everything else follows.
Awesome. You have put all these things so beautifully, Surya. I think you gave some great examples. Sometimes people try to explore things by themselves and they ruin their life. Smoking, a great example, 20 years and the health is gone. And now doctor says you have to stop smoking. And that's where I realize, okay, the doctor becomes my master, right? Similarly, people start exploring on the internet, start exploring the books by themselves. And somewhere, if it would have been so easy, I think anybody would have become anything because information is overloaded on internet, right? So let's
Yes.
say if I want to become even a realized person, if I want to become even a richest guy on the earth, Bill Gates, I can read about him and learn about him on the internet, but I can't become like that so easily, right? So somewhere you need an ideal. Um, And these days it's so important to have mentors and coaches in our life, right? Anything that you do, even in your career, you need a coach for that if you want to really grow exponential. So similarly, you need to have a coach in your
Yes.
life, your mentor in your life, which can exactly help you, guide you where to move forward. So it was such a great talk, Surya Dada. I really enjoyed. I'm sure this is going to be a video which is going to be helping so many people who are actually trying to understand the relationship between spirituality and the logical things, career growth, all those things they are looking for. We started from purpose on the how that we have to see the sun, we have to follow the ideal. We talked on the spiritual growth, we talked about personal growth, rich versus spirituality, the challenges between IQ and EQ, teachings of Thakurji, and being and becoming. I think I really like this one line, and which I try to implement in my life is only humans are capable of being, right? No animal. If a dog, you give an example of dog. If a dog wants to become something else from puppy to dog, he can't become because he doesn't have power of being, right? I have that power of being. I can become anything I want to
Yes.
become the moment I understand the power of being, right? I can
Yes.
be this, I can be that. The being, the moment I understand that being, I can leverage my being to become, to do that becoming. So that in itself is
Yes.
an amazing teaching of Thakurji. Thank you so much, Surya Dada. It was really great thought, great learnings from you. If you have anything else at the end, you can let us know before we wrap this up.
No, I really enjoyed this conversation. In the end, if I have to say something, I would say that human life is precious. The science of eugenics tells us that many lives are sacrificed just to create one life. So it is precious, it is short, it has a limited span. Though our eternal life has an eternal span, but this life has a short span. Let's not waste it. Let's
Right,
not spoil it by going after things which are insignificant, which are
right,
meaningless. I
right.
think all of us should find meaning in our life, make life meaningful, impactful. I have been able to make my life, or I'm on the journey of making my life meaningful and happy by having a living ideal at the center of my life. I have found Sri Sri Thakur Chandra as my spiritual guide. My urge, my request, my humble submission to all of you would be find your living ideal life. Make your life meaningful, blissful, and happy. In the age of distractions, in the times of imbalances in life, let's find that balancing factor in life. Who can bring balance? Who can help us remain steady and strong in the midst of all distractions, all challenges, all problems, and where we find the inner strength and the capability, both physical, emotional, and intellectual and mental, to overcome all obstacles and find our purpose, reach our destination. Thank you
Amazing.
so much.
Amazing. I think in Shastras also they say, right, after 24,000 yonias we get this human body, right? And this
Absolutely.
is a precious thing that we can leverage, and we can make an impact on this world. We can do something great which can live as a legacy after us. That's so amazing. I think I remember John Maxwell says that, he says that we are in the midst of mass distractions. More than destruction, it's mass distraction, and these are the times when it has
Yes.
multiplied even more in this times of COVID and isolation and everything. And that's why we hear so many mental challenges and all those things are happening these days. So I think there has to be a balance between this thought process, how to leverage the spiritual growth, how to leverage the living ideal, and how to grow in your personal development, and reach to your peak potential, reach to your unlimited potential, unleash your unlimited potential inside. Amazing, Surya Dada. It was really a great discussion with you. I learned so many things, and I'm sure people who are watching us, who will watch this video, they are going to learn so many things from you. Do reach out to me, reach out to Surya Dada. If you have any more questions, you can put comment, you can mail us, send us anything that you want. But do let us know. Thank you so much, Surya Dada. Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank
Thank you.
you. I'm personally grateful to you for giving me this opportunity. And we had such an interesting, engaging, and enriching conversation. I really enjoyed every moment.
I
Thank you so
enjoyed
much once again.
I enjoyed a lot and I learned a lot. Thank you so much, Surya. See
Thank you.
you. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching us. I hope this made sense to you and you guys learned so many things. It's very important to leverage your spiritual growth and particularly around meditation, visualization, so that you can grow even in a materialistic world, and you will be clear why you are growing, why you are here, right? The moment you have that calling, moment you understand why you are here, the moment you understand all the balances that is required in life, you can grow exponentially. Thank you so much for watching us. I hope it made some sense to you. I hope it added value in your life. Do let us know if you have any questions, any doubts. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.